everybody. I'm Joe.
I'm Melissa.
And together we are J&M Photo Video. And we would like to welcome you to our podcast, Blue Hour, which is a podcast where we talk about all things wedding photography, videography, and creative entrepreneurship.
So this podcast is geared mainly toward couples looking for a wedding photographer, videographer, wedding vendors, anybody in the wedding realm.
Why do we call it Blue Hour?
Well, we call it Blue Hour because the only time we can really record this is after our girls go to bed, and Blue Hour is the time right after sunset. So
they're sometimes in bed by sunset.
They're sometimes in bed by sunset, but normally it's post Blue Hour. But Blue Hour it is.
Not actually Blue Hour. It's almost 10.
Yeah,
but
it's fine. It's fine.
So in this episode, we are going to talk about our beginnings as photographers, kind of the beginnings of our business, and just kind of introduce you all to us.
Yep.
Because that is important. We feel like you should know who you're talking to.
Yeah. And our future clients and couples gives you guys a chance to know a little bit about our background before you meet us on your wedding day.
Yep. And the goal of this is just to have a more long form place to do that. We make Instagram reels, we make all these things on the internet, but there's nothing else like this that we do. So
right.
We're diving in.
Yeah.
So the goal of the show is to support our clients and give some advice. Just be kind of a more modern voice in wedding planning and talk about wedding photography. And I'm going to give it to you because you had a really good point of something we hear all the time.
Yeah. So oftentimes when you're planning a wedding, you've never planned a wedding before, and you're getting advice from mom or grandma or aunt who you love very much
and trust and whose input is important.
Yes, whose input is very important on your wedding day. However, they may have gotten married in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and weddings have changed a lot since the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So we're hoping that this will be a place for you to get some advice when you're planning your wedding that you can take as you're planning.
It's our responsibility, we feel like, to just kind of bring a voice to the industry and what we're seeing in the area and talk about it so that you, if you're finding this as a couple planning your wedding, have a kind of more modern source for information.
Yeah.
So who are we specifically? Who's J&M Photo Video? We are a husband and wife team. We started our business about 3 years ago. I think we just had our third birthday.
We did.
Our business's
this
third
past
birthday.
week. Yeah. So in 2020.
But we're based in the Hagerstown area. We serve the entire DC metro area. And we're primarily, like we said, wedding photographers, portrait photographers, family and lifestyle photographers.
Yep.
We do video work as well.
Yep. And we offer photography, videography, and then more recently this year, we added film photography to our weddings as an add-on for our wedding packages. So Joe, tell us a little bit about how you got started in photography.
So I started photography and videography a long time ago, more than a decade ago, more than half my life ago, actually.
Because we're old.
Because we're getting old. But
we're not that old. We're only 31.
Something like that. But I started in video, actually. My best friend, who is still a really close friend of mine, suggested that I do this video internship with him and his uncle back in high school. And I just fell in love with cameras. It was my new thing. Paths kind of weaved a little bit. And I went into audio recording, which is very similar in kind of technique and workflow and everything else to video. And I did a lot of video work on the side while I was learning audio. And all of the concepts that translated just made a lot of sense for me to continue doing video. So picked up photography along the way, started doing paid work a couple years ago, got into weddings through, would you call it a mentorship?
I don't think it was an official mentorship.
Master class?
I don't know.
I would call it more of a master class, a wedding workship, if you will.
There you go.
Where another close friend of mine kind of pulled me into the wedding scene. So it's been a lot of fun, and I love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent half my life doing it at this point.
Yeah.
So why don't we turn it over to you?
Okay, so I have not been in photography as long as Joe, not half my life. But I really took an interest in photography while we were dating. And then again, when we had our first daughter, capturing her first year of life. And so almost her whole life, we've run this business.
Pretty much.
And I just love being part of people's wedding days. And it's just a great opportunity to be able to capture those moments for people. But a little bit of my background: before I was a wedding photographer, I was a teacher. So a lot of our organizational stuff for our business, I kind of take a hand in. I run our calendar. I send the invoices. I schedule our lives pretty much.
All that's not my jam. Not me.
And I do most of our photo editing at this point. Joe is our video editor, and then I edit most of the photos. So.
Good synopsis. Why don't we talk about our passion and why we do this? You're kind of touching on it, but a big part of it is capturing memories that are meaningful to people, and being there and taking the responsibility of capturing someone's wedding day. It's a big deal to us. And they're things that last a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know of any other job you have where you affect somebody's like core memories.
No. And in your wedding photos, you'll look at for years to come. Even if they're stored on a hard drive, you'll find them on that hard drive someday, and you'll be like, "Oh, look at our wedding photos." And
I still have our catalog or our collection pulled up on my phone. It's a tab in my phone.
Yeah. I mean, we've been married for 7 years now. And I mean, we still go back and look at our wedding photos, and your wedding photos are something that you can never get back to. So picking the right photographer, videographer, someone you're going to spend your entire wedding day with, you want to be able to trust that person and know that they're going to do the best possible job they can to capture those memories for you and to create that story in every frame.
Exactly. And we feel like it's our responsibility to represent photography at the highest level for our clients. Just every piece of their photography experience is important to us. It might be the only time you run into a professional photographer is on your wedding. Hopefully not.
I mean, hopefully you hire a professional photographer to take those big moments for you.
We like to do lots of other kinds of photography too, and see the value in documenting other parts of your life. But if that is one of the only times you hire a professional, we want it to be the best experience ever.
From the very first email you get, from your call, because we always have a call with our couples before we book. We're not going to just cold book you without talking to you.
Right.
We want all of those touch points to be the best possible experience for our clients. So we
have notes because we felt like we needed notes, and now we were through the notes.
Yeah.
So I guess we should probably wrap it up, right?
Yeah. So this is just here is who we are.
Very loosely collected.
Very loosely.
Who we are. Introductory podcast. We hope that you'll return for other episodes and come back and visit us. We're going to try to make this as consistent as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing I'm willing to promise here and now, is as consistent as possible.
Yeah. There are definitely going to be times of the year when we could put out episodes more regularly, but we are at the tail end of our busy season right now. So I won't say photographers ever have a off season.
Yeah, we don't really ever have an off season.
There's always something going on. So yeah.
But we do have a slower season.
Yeah, we have a slow season.
We do have winter.
Winter is generally slow.
Yeah.
We're in fall right now. So
we're in a good place to try to make this as consistent as possible while we get it started. So we hope that you'll stay tuned. We have a whole lot of cool things planned, both for this podcast and for our business in general.
Yes.
Got some cool things up our sleeve that we haven't shared quite yet. I guess we'll share some of them once this podcast happens, right?
I mean, this podcast is going to have some of those things.
This is true. So excited. But I think that's a good place to leave it for now. We'll be back with more episodes, and we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.